Hey guys, it's Hinda and welcome back to Cooking Fantasies. In today's video, we're going to be making this delicious no-bake Lotus Biscoff Cheesecake. I've honestly been craving this for a long time and I decided to share it with you while I'm making it. It is a very easy recipe and yet very delicious. If you like the Lotus Biscoff Biscuits, you're going to love this cheesecake. And if you are new to the channel and you're visiting for the first time, we make a lot of delicious things here, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell to get all the notifications. And as always, I'm going to leave you down in the description box all the ingredients you're going to need in both the grams and the metric measurements, so let's get baking. We will start by preparing the base, for which you're going to need some Biscoff biscuits and unsalted butter. You're going to start by melting the butter either on the stove or in the microwave. And then you want to grind the biscuits, and for this you can either use a food processor, it's much better and faster. Otherwise you can use just the old trick with a zip bag and the rolling pin. Once all the biscuits are well ground, they turn into a sand-like texture. Transfer them into a bowl and combine with the melted butter. I lined the bottom of my baking tin with some parchment paper. This is to be able to remove it easier afterwards when it's ready. Also, I used here a 24 centimeters baking tin that's about 9.5 inches, which makes the layers a little bit thinner. You can still use the very same recipe and use a smaller baking tin with a smaller diameter, and you will get a kind of thicker layers. Then spread the mixture of biscuits and butter on the parchment paper and try to even it out and make it as even as possible. It helps to use the base of a thick glass or whatever you have in the kitchen to even it out and give it also some pressure. If you don't apply enough pressure, it tends to crumble when you are digging into your cheesecake pieces with the fork and it doesn't stay like one piece. And then you have two options. You can either preheat the oven to about 180 degrees Celsius, that's about 356 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you're going to switch off the oven and place the baking tin for about 5 to 10 minutes. That it absorbs all the heat. This helps the base to set even more. Or you can skip all of that and just place it in the refrigerator and allow it to sit for about 15 minutes or till the second layer is ready. And now to prepare the cream cheese cream, of course we're going to be using the Biscoff butter. This jar comes in normally 400 grams I think, or 378 grams, and we only need 1 cup of it, and that's about 250 to 270 grams. So I'm going to be measuring this out and keep the rest for later. And to this cookie batter, which should be of course in room temperature, I'm going to be adding the cream cheese, which is also in room temperature, and the icing sugar, and then combine everything together. You can do this just with the hands like I did, or use a hand mixer. Now it's ready, leave it on the side and let's beat the heavy cream. The heavy cream should be very cold right out of the fridge. It's even better if you place the bowl also in the fridge for some minutes before beating the cream. And because we already added enough sugar to the first mixture and also the cookie butter, all the Biscoff butter is sweet enough, we're not going to be adding any sugar to the whipped cream. But if you are using ready store-bought whipped cream, which you can do, just go ahead and use less sugar in the first mixture to kind of balance the sweetness. Beat the heavy cream enough to get a nice creamy but stiff texture. Then you're going to go ahead and start incorporating it into the first mixture of cream cheese and Biscoff butter. Do this gently using just a spatula with the folding technique from the bottom upwards, and do this on 2 to 3 goes. Once everything is well combined and you have a nice smooth cream, everything is homogenic, go ahead and pour it on the base or the crust. And then use a small spatula and spread it all over. Try to make it as even as possible. As I said, I'm using here a baking tin with a large diameter, 25 centimeters. That's about 9.5 inches. If you use a smaller one, you're gonna end up with a thicker layer of both the crust and cream cheese. It also looks just as nice. And then place it in the fridge for at least 1 hour to sit. And meanwhile, we're gonna be preparing the topping. And of course, we're going to top our Biscoff cheesecake with the rest of the Biscoff batter. And for this, you have to melt it either in a microwave, it works really good, or you can do it in a bain-marie. The cheesecake has set enough in the fridge. Now pour the melted Biscoff batter on the top of the cheesecake. Now there are many ways to do this. You can either pour it and spread it, or you can drip it on the sides. And what you can also do, which looks really nice, you can melt your Biscoff butter, pour it in a piping bag, and drizzle some lines on the top of the cheesecake. And this is optional, it's really a matter of choice. You can skip this if you don't like it, but I really like a touch of peanut butter, so I also melted about 1 tablespoon of peanut butter and drizzled it over to mix it with the Biscoff batter. It tastes really good. You can give it a try if you like peanut butter taste. It goes nice with all the tastes of the biscuits and everything, but if you don't like it, you can just skip it. And this is, like I said, a personal choice. And finally, I crushed some Biscoff biscuits and I'm going to be decorating the cake with it. And this is also optional, you can add it only to the sides. I like to cover the whole surface because it adds a nice crunch and more texture to the whole cheesecake. You can use some heat to easily release it from the tin, but this is optional. You can also do without. You can just run a knife on the sides. And as you see, the parchment paper also helps transfer it easier. And I would suggest to transfer it before adding in the last touches of decorations, which is also personal. I personally like to add some whipped cream. It brings more lightness, more texture, and also it looks nice, yeah. And then I'm going to be adding also some biscuits. I hope you'll be trying out this recipe soon. If you do, please let me know how it turned out. I'm always happy to read from you. And also, please let me know if you tried to add some peanut butter to this cheesecake. I personally love it and I think it complements the whole taste and it adds much more flavor to it. But it's still just as good and delicious without it. So yeah, it's a personal choice. I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to get all the notifications, and see you soon with a new recipe. Happy baking!